I really spent my whole life believing that I wasn't good enough, and I spent my whole life thinking that I lacked those gold medal winning attributes, and I kind of kept that hidden for a very long time. Growing up, I only had men freestyle wrestlers to look up to, and so I would compare myself, okay, well, I gotta be tough like this guy, and I have to be stoic and not show emotion because that's what they do. And again, I feel like God taught me, you just want to get to that destination. You don't have to do it the same path that they took. And so instead of trying to force yourself into this one box, why don't you just be yourself, figure out who you are, and then figure out how you work those strengths and weaknesses for yourself. When you focus on the journey and when you focus on developing yourself as a person, I think that will translate the best on the mats.
Okay, you tell the story.
Yeah, actually we met at Cuba, Havana. I love this place. We were at the camp, wrestling camp at the US team, and Yelena is my student, Yelena Pershkova. She was staying by herself in the room, and two girls, Helen and Vicky, came a few days later from Canada. And so Yelena introduced us, we started talking, three of them would practice together.
After 2014 Worlds, I won the bronze, but I lost in the semis, and he came up and said, I see you want to get better, but you don't know upper body wrestling, or there's a lot of stuff you don't know. So when I asked Valentin to coach me, he told me, he's like, listen, here's the deal, we're training in California, we don't have a wrestling room, we don't have a daily place to train, we don't have practice times because we don't have partners. One day practice is at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. The next day it might be at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. or it might just be 7:30 a.m. at the beach, because we didn't have a wrestling room. And Valentin said, this is the deal. And I think to me it was a really good growing period, because I'm like, well, do I want a perfect environment but not a perfect coach, or do I want a perfect coach and not a perfect environment? Sometimes it's hard to find someone that will sacrifice for your own goal, but it was also his goal to produce an Olympic champion. It was a really cool journey, and I think because there were so many messy or hard parts, for me, I feel like after Rio, it just brought us closer together, coach-athlete relationship, and just as a family, because man, we went through the grind.
It's pretty much her and my dreams came through, and then I start thinking about the Cinderella stories. It is true, you're teaching kids, just believe in your dreams, and sometimes you tell it, but you feel like, is that really true? It's not a Disney movie, and then it's like, boom, bye-bye. That's what it is. That's a dream, came true.
Well, I believed you.
Yeah.
Moving to New York, it's been a change. It's been a really good change. Definitely a very lively city. There's a lot to do. It's really cool because we're surrounded by a lot of really, really great people that are involved in wrestling, but also involved in a lot of other things. So I've got to see the city from a really interesting perspective and be around really interesting, amazing people. Well, one of the goals I had after Rio was I can't live life the way I did before. Before the Olympics, I don't want to be that narrow-minded. I wanted to branch out a bit. So I'm trying to explore with cooking a lot more, focusing on just health and healthy eating and cooking that for yourself rather than this is the diet, this is what you can have, this is what you can't have. I'm I don't think that's going to be a mindset that will serve me during the wrestling, but also after wrestling. So my goal is definitely to wrestle again through 2020. And my goal is definitely to win another gold medal. I think right now the goal is just seeing, I don't know, I struggled a lot with, do I want to come back to wrestling, but most importantly, why do I want to come back? I believe I'm capable of winning another gold medal, but am I just doing it just to get it again, and why? Is it because I feel like I need it? Is it because I feel like I'm supposed to? Is it from expectations from other people, or now new expectations for myself? And I think there's going to be new goals kind of weeded throughout. The goal's always 2020 Olympic gold, but at the same time, I personally feel I have to be careful that there's more to life than a gold medal. And I know I was very selfish in 2016. This time I kind of want to enjoy the journey more and just kind of bring my family into it more, bring friends into it more, just kind of make sure I'm pausing and seeing that it really is more than just wrestling. So.
And there's no question who's going to be the winner, and that is confirmed now for Maroulis. Wonderful win in the end there, and it's gold for the USA.
Right, Coach Kalika has invested and poured so much time into Helen over the last 5 years.
And that combination of coaching, knowledge, and athletic endeavour combined to produce an excellent gold for the USA here at the World Championships.